Episode 19 of Bandits Weekly, presented by Smash Supplements. I'm Nathan Crosby. Big thanks last week to Madison Dunn, Nick Hamry, and BCHL CEO Chris Hebb for joining us on the podcast. We've got a great episode this week. We've got former Bandit Mark Logan will be stopping by for a chat. He'll be performing at the Brooks Hotel later this spring. And we will also hear from one of the newest members of the Brooks Bandits, Sam Scopa, goaltender who came from the USHL in what was a busy week of deals for the Brooks Bandits leading up to the BCHL trade deadline. So let's recap everything that happened since we last had an episode. We mentioned last week when we were filming in our Drawson before that game in Sherwood Park that the Bandits had acquired defenseman Alex Boslin from Powell River. He was able to join us up in Sherwood Park that morning for the skate. Didn't play against the Crusaders, played the following night in Blackfalds, and now has played a couple games with the Bandits. But big defenseman, committed to Maine. Really looking forward to seeing what Alex can do and just getting to know him. Looks like he's got a great personality too, so I'm sure he's going to fit in great here. So that kicked off what was busy few days for the team with player movement. As we were recording that episode in our Drawson, we found out that the team also signed Sam Scopa, who you'll hear from in just a few moments, goaltender who was playing in Cedar Rapids in the USHL. Before that, he played prep school at Belmont. He's already committed to Quinnipiac. He's here, like Boslin, had to travel very far to get here, about 20 hours from Cedar Rapids to Brooks, and then actually had his debut Tuesday against Okotoks in that 11 a.m. school game. We'll talk about that in a second, but also a great personality as well. We're really looking forward to getting to know Alex and Sam as members of the Bandits. So Friday night, we had our game in Sherwood Park. This was a highly anticipated game between the Bandits and Crusaders, the top two teams in the standings all season. The two games here in Brooks that Sherwood Park came and played were some of the best games of the year. 1-goal Bandit wins, 4-3 on September 22nd, 2-1 November 3rd. Great goaltending with Johnny Hicks and Eric Roost. And then we hadn't seen them since. We were supposed to go up to Sherwood Park in January. Game got rescheduled because of weather and bus availability. And then both teams joined the BCHL, setting up what would be the first of 5 games between Brooks and Sherwood Park. So February 9th, we were up finally at the Randy Rosen rink. It was the first time we were there since October of the 22-23 season. And Hicks and Roost, once again, were the stories of the game. Both were great. Hicks was 1 save better. Season high 39 saves for Johnny. And the Bandits put up 3 goals on the Sherwood Park net. One from Nathan Free, the other from Ty Mason, and then an empty netter from Hunter Wallace. And the Bandits win 3-1 in a game that saw them probably give up more shots than they wanted. You know, talking with Taylor Macon and Dakota Mason after the game, it's funny that, you know, the team didn't play as good on Friday in Sherwood and got the win, and played really good in Blackfalds on Saturday and ended up losing. So before we get to the game in Blackfalds and what happened there, there was more deals that the team made before the 5 p.m. trade deadline. The first was acquiring forward Brock Such from the Sherwood Park Crusaders, and he joined us in Blackfalds that day and made his Bandit debut that night, and picked up a great assist on a Logan Sawyer goal. Committed to St. Cloud State, very skilled offensive player, but as we saw in the Okotoks game, he can be physical too, and got to meet him briefly, and seems like a great kid, and was having a fantastic season with Sherwood Park. 20 goals, played Team Canada West at the World Junior A Challenge. There was 5 Crusaders there, along with the 6 Bandits that were there. So yeah, it was great to have Such join the team. Bandits traded future considerations to Sherwood Park to get him. That wasn't the only deal of the day. Bandits moved forward Ewan McPherson, who they got from Sherwood Park earlier this season. They trade Ewan to the Vernon Vipers for future considerations. We wish Ewan all the best with the Vipers. Really enjoyed getting to know him here in the half season he played. Great kid, and good luck to him in Vernon. And then the final deal just before the deadline saw the Bandits acquire Liam Davidson, who was recently playing with the Calgary Canucks in the AJ, Was also began this year playing over in Sweden, not far from where we were in August when we were there in Karlstad. He was playing in the Leksand area. And he's a defenseman, left shot, has some experience playing junior in Calgary. He's dual citizen, Canadian and Norwegian, and just got to meet him this morning that we recorded this, and really looking forward to having Liam here. And so, yeah, that wrapped up what was a busy week of transactions for the Bandits. So welcome to Alex, Sam, Brock, and Liam, and a lot of new Bandits coming in. And so, yeah, then the Saturday night game, we were in Blackfalds. Bandits outshoot the Bulldogs heavily. They fall behind 3-0, though. Wilson Maxfield was good in the Blackfalds net. But the Bandits, to their credit, almost came back and tied the game. Logan Sawyer, Nathan Free both scored to cut it to 3-2. Couldn't get the equalizer, though, despite the empty netter, and Blackfalds prevails with the 3-2 win. That set up our Tuesday morning game in Okotoks, with Scopa making his debut in the Bandit net. And he definitely got the run support in that game. It's the Bandits, 8 different goal scorers in a 9-2 win over the Oilers. Despite giving up the first goal to Okotoks, Bandits really dominated the game. Nathan Free, who has been excellent in the BCHL so far, had a 5-point game, 2 goals, 3 assists. Parker Lalonde had a couple goals. Nick Peluso, Mirko Budazzoni on that line with Lalonde, they were great as well with 3-point games. Scopa wins his debut with 19 saves, and the Bandits blow out the Oilers 9-2. Did not expect that to happen against an Okotoks team where we've had some really tight games against us, including the last 2 here in Brooks, but that's the way it went. And the Bandits are 4-1 since joining the BCHL. So Scopa made his debut Tuesday in Okotoks, and we had the chance to sit down with Sam and get to know him a little more. Here with new Bandit goaltender Sam Scopa. It's great to meet you, Sam, and welcome to Brooks. I know the last week, I'm sure, has been a bit of a whirlwind for you. Just walk us through what the last few days have been like, finding out you are a Brooks Bandit, and then the process of getting here.
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, I'm very excited to be here, very excited to be a Bandit. It all started last Thursday, I'd say. I got a call from Pap and my agent just trying to get me in here. And, you know, I like the decision that I made. I'm very happy that I made it. A lot of travel has been in the past couple days, 20 hours on the road from Cedar Rapids. So, I mean, my body's still recovering from that a bit. But, I mean, it was kind of a hectic start. Got right off the road, moved into my billets, figured out I was starting the next day. Very honored to get that start as well, so I'm pumped about that. 5:45 wake up for the 11 a.m. game. I haven't had an 11 a.m. game since I was a peewee, so no, that was something different, but I loved it. And then just the culture here is amazing. All the boys look like they're having so much fun on and off the ice, and I'm really happy to be a Bandit and proud to get this started.
Well said. Take me through the journey here, though. You mentioned your dad drove with you from Cedar Rapids to Brooks. Did you make? I know that's not the world's most exciting drive. I've done it. What about the experience, though, did you like, and getting to spend some time with your dad?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. My dad flew out to Cedar Rapids that Saturday. We left Sunday, and I mean, there wasn't much to see. I mean, spent some good time with my dad in the car. He took the wheel for most of the trip. I mean, saw some roadkill, saw a fox on the road, saw a lot of oil rigs, but I mean, it was a lot of nothing driving out here. But I mean, it was really nice to get the road trip started and start a new journey to my life.
And as you mentioned, that you started the 11 o'clock game in Okotoks on Tuesday. I mean, what an introduction to the team. But obviously, it worked out really well for the team, winning 9-2. But yeah, just what was going through your mind when we got to Okotoks and the game is starting and you realize now you're a Brooks Bandit and you're the starting goalie?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really too much time to think, getting right into it, but I love getting right into the action. Putting the Brooks Bandit sweater right over my chest protector, that was definitely a great experience. I mean, ever since I got here, all the boys have been amazing to me also, just asking me if I need any help, if I have any questions. So, I mean, I'm really proud to be a Bandit.
And speaking of being a Bandit, like before you got here and even before you knew you were traded here, like what was your knowledge of the Brooks Bandits and what was going on here?
I know they have a really good dynasty here. just a wagon of a team, always very handled, very professionally. And I know that Cale Makar also was a Bandit, so that was awesome to see. But I know it's a very well-run program. Pap's a great coach. I know it's a very good spot, and I'm happy to be here.
Describe yourself first before like as a player, but just as a person. Like it seems like you're pretty personal. I like to talk, but how would you describe yourself as a person?
I like to be a little bit outgoing. You know, I've been known to be soft-hearted. That's what my mom says. Yeah, I like to get out there, you know, get to know people right away. So, I mean, yeah.
And as a goalie, comparables, what kind of goalie style do you like to follow? Just describe yourself in that way.
I like to be an athletic goalie, make the saves that I need to make, and also be common poised. I take my goalie style from like a bunch of different goalies in the NHL, so I don't really pinpoint one exact one. But I like watching Marc-Andre Fleury, you know, scramble around in the net. But I also like the poise of many other goalies.
Well, you'll get along with our goaltender coach, Kevin Sajinovic. He's a big Flower fan. So it's great to meet you, Sam. I have a feeling we're going to have a few more chats, given that you don't seem to be too shy. So this is great. Welcome to Brooks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Happy to be here.
That's Bandits goaltender Sam Scopa. Thanks to Sam Scopa for joining us on Bandits Weekly. He said to me before the interview, he's never done one before, couldn't tell. Great speaker. And looking forward to more chats with Sam. Speaking of great talkers and one of the great personalities that have played for the Brooks Bandits, Mark Logan, who's now making a name for himself in the music industry. He's going to be performing in Brooks next month, and we're excited to welcome him back to Brooks and seeing him perform. Mark Logan on Bandits Weekly. Mark Logan joining us on Bandits Weekly. Great to see you, Mark. And first off, I love the backdrop of the jerseys there. Can you just like take us a quick walk through the jerseys you got there?
Yes, here's the jersey repertoire. Obviously, I had to put the Brooks Bandits ones up there. Got the OG logo there. RBD jersey, that one's a personal fave. Then when we had the other logo switch and RIT where I went after Brooks. So those are the main ones you can see. And then I got a couple of Cale Makar jerseys, if you guys know who that is. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be on here.
Well, we're excited that you're going to be playing in Brooks in March at the Brooks Hotel, and it's going to be following one of our home games. I gotta ask, like, you're busy now with the music thing, but are you keeping up with the Bandits? And I'm sure you've been paying somewhat attention given the recent news of the team.
Yeah, like obviously at first that news was shocking. I'm glad you guys figured it out and you're part of the BC now and on to some new horizons. But I'm always following along because after I stopped playing there, as you know, my cousin Cale, then my cousin Taylor, and just the boys that are coaching now and Pop's still coaching. I love to just keep up with the team and keep up with the boys. So saw we had a big W the other night and hopefully more to come.
When's the last time you went to a Bandits game live?
The last time I went to a Bandits game was when my cousin Taylor was playing in the RBC, or I guess the Centennial Cup, when it was being hosted in Brooks. So we had a show there that weekend too. So we made a big whole weekend out of it. And it was insane. Like the atmosphere and the fan base there is the best in junior A hockey. Like it was electric. So I'm hoping the boys can have some more games like that and hope to attend some of them.
Hoping to have T back on and chat with him soon here. But have you been talking to Taylor recently and how things are going out at UMass?
Yeah, we talk quite a bit because something that a lot of people don't know is Taylor also makes music. So we make music together all the time, and he's a creative dude. But I just love to check in on him, and his work ethic is unbelievable, and he's always getting better and always focused on the next step. So things are going well for him out there, and I'm excited to see kind of what transpires over the next year or two for his career.
Yeah, I remember when Taylor was here, I'm pretty sure he was in charge of the aux court. I remember driving him somewhere. We were doing some community thing, and it was a bit of a drive, and he was sitting in the front seat, and he took over the DJing. So I knew he was definitely interested in music. Have you guys, like, since you were kids, always shared that love of music?
Yeah, man. Like he has a super entertaining, fun personality, and that just really goes hand in hand with being creative, I think, and trying to make every situation more fun. So we just naturally had that inclination and that chemistry, probably through being family members as well. And it started off mostly just like us sharing music that we both liked. And then as things progressed, we just started messing around. I taught him some stuff. I gave him my old mic. He took my old mic to UMass. And then next thing you know, we're just shooting ideas back and forth here. So obviously he's a busy guy. So I think akin to me, he just does it to take off some steam, or like as I did it at that stage where you just want an outlet and have some fun and make the boys laugh. But he definitely is talented. So it'll be cool to see what happens. We have a couple songs together already. He's kind of in the background because he can't put as much into it as I can right now. But if he ever wants to take that step, he's got options.
Oh, I got to hear this because that was my next question. Has there been a collaboration yet between the two? And like, does he sing at all?
Yeah, so mostly he produces, he makes the beats, and he's just always cooking up beats. But we made one song together on one of my most recent EPs, Return of the Sandman. It's like a country hip hop fusion, and he sings on that track, and it's insane. Since he doesn't have a Spotify profile, like it doesn't say, he's just in the credits. So I feel like a lot of people don't realize it's him, especially because we do have a kind of a similar voice. But you got to check it out. I'd be interested to hear your feedback. It's pretty cinematic song. So when I'm out there, maybe I'll show you, and you can give me some feedback.
Love it. Now, Sandman, is that a Metallica reference, or what's up with the Sandman?
It's not a Metallica reference, even though disgustingly sick song. And I actually wore a shirt on stage, one of the Metallica shirts, because of that, just to allude to that. But it actually is. There's a sub narrative in this EP it's almost like a short story. So like even though the songs are about my own experience, I almost made like a sub story of inspired by my great grandfather, just some kind of like crazy Western tales. I don't want to get too into it because I'm kind of building towards it for an LP drop. But that's basically the idea behind it. It's like you can almost take the songs in two ways. There is this like semi-fictional story that unfolds throughout the EP, but if you listen to each song individually, there's also a theme behind it. So it's one of those things you gotta listen to it to find out.
Can't wait. And like, so when you perform, how much are you like incorporating your own stuff? Do you do any like remixes, covers, or is it mostly your show? Is it all your stuff?
Honestly, we've done all of that. So at some shows I've had to do pure covers. Some shows just been my own headlining show, do everything. I think right now the most fun is doing a blend, because typically a lot of people know my bigger songs, especially if they're coming out to the show, but not everybody knows each and every song. So it is nice to chuck in some of those bangers that are kind of from artists that have inspired me, or similar artists that can kind of set the mood and get everyone singing. Because as much as like the show is about discovery and showing off your own work, it also is about creating that environment where everyone can have fun and enjoy it. So I like to do a blend just to keep it surprising and interesting.
Yeah, I saw clips of you at the Stampede last summer. That looked like probably a highlight of your career. Just take us through that night and what that meant to you playing at the Stampede, being that you're from Calgary.
It was crazy, man. So we had multiple shows over the course of the week. We got to open for all the big hip hop acts. So Jack Harlow was kind of the big night that I was looking forward to. Ice Cube, Legend, Wiz Khalifa, Metro. So it was just good because it was a lot of experience jam packed into like 1 week. How we got this was through the Cowboys opener competition. Basically, it's all the artists from all genres in Calgary, and there's multiple rounds. And we ended up placing first in the hip hop category. So obviously, we go under my name. It's my Mark Logan. But my producer, C4 Boz, John Boswell, was on stage as my DJ. And then my manager, actually, Quinn LeBlanc, who you'll meet, he was helping hype man too. So it was just crazy, man. Like the best night was definitely Harlow, because I brought Kale and Nazem Kadri out on stage. It was almost like it was a little fun bet we had. So the year before, I was talking to Kale. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be playing here next year. And he's like, oh, yeah, like you better if you're going to say it. I'm like, okay, you want to make a bet? And he's just like, yeah, man, let's make a bet. And so we had a bet. And the bet was if I like play at Cowboys, he had to come on stage with me. The original bet was a little bit different. I said you have to come shotgun a beer with me on stage, but I was like, you don't have to do that. He's not that kind of guy. So he and then the bet was if I didn't do it, I had to give him a year's worth of royalties, like I think like 50% of like my songs or something like that. So I was actually kind of sweating, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta make this happen. So I'm glad it went down. And it's funny because like obviously this guy, global superstar, like he does all these interviews, does everything, plays in the All-Star game. But it's a bit different. Like when you go out on stage, it's a different type of like vulnerability. So he was just like, I could tell he's a bit hesitant, but after he did it, he was so fired up. He's like, man, that was super fun. So I was just glad he enjoyed it. And it was just a good time and just to kind of wrap it up in a nutshell, it was nice to finally get to play in front of that many people just to get your feet wet and push your boundaries a bit. So I'm just looking forward to kind of keeping the momentum rolling and getting back out there and headlining my own show as soon as possible.
So cool. I mean, I think I would have included in the deal that maybe Kale had to play some Mark Logan in the Avs dressing room. I don't know if that's.
I know. And I see, there's a lot of sub deals that I was thinking of, but I guess you can't bite off more than you can chew.
More to come. I'm sure there's lots ahead of here for you. So like, when did you get that? I mean, obviously every hockey player wants to play in the NHL. You want to go as far as you can in your hockey career, play pro hockey. When did you come to the realization that it was going to be music that was going to be your path forward?
So for me, it was pretty much, as you said, the NHL is always what you're thinking. And like when I was playing in Brooks and then RIT, I still believed like I was going to play in the NHL. Like if you don't, I think it's hard to continue playing, really, because most of us are really ambitious and competitive with it. We know what it takes. And just along the course of my career at RIT, it wasn't really going the way I expected. I was in and out of the lineup. I wasn't playing too much. And I think just the mixture of that kind of deteriorating over time, maybe a bit of my hope and like my passion, because it's just not as fun, unfortunately, at the end of the day. And you can only do so much when you think you're working hard like this. And so naturally, I was just spending a bit more time on music. And it kind of just came to the point where I'm like, uh, at the end of my career at RIT, I was considering maybe just packing it up right then and there. But Dunner, who was on the pod last week or a couple weeks ago, one of my best buddies, he's like, Logs, we should go play 1 year in France. So we ended up heading over there. And that's kind of when both of us started really taking our next step seriously. He got into the videos. He was shooting a bunch of videos for me. And I was just recording and making songs all day. So that's really kind of where it flipped. We were enjoying ourselves. And we're like, hey, we still love hockey and we want to keep it at the forefront of some of the stuff we do with our music and our brands and our videos. But it just seemed like it wasn't the same as before. And I had this other thing coming, and I always felt a calling to do this. Like it really all started snowballing in Brooks when I was a rookie. When I went home after school or after practice, I would just start writing bars and making songs. And that's kind of when the first time anyone heard my music too. The boys heard it in the dressing room a couple times, and Jonesy, who's coaching there right now, Dakota Mason, I remember he would always give me a hard time, but it was funny because he actually liked it. He would chirp me, but he's like, but Logan's actually sick. So I was like, okay, if Jonesy thinks it's cool, then I think it must be going somewhere, Yeah.
By the way, like Jonesy giving people a hard time hasn't stopped. I mean, I get it daily from him. So.
That is so funny, man. He's one of the best chirpers in the game. You got to give it to him.
I'll give it to him, but like that he's a great chirper. But like I'll stand up for myself around him because yeah, you got to around him. And just on that note, like how cool is it to see him now in the coaching game and coaching in Brooks, and you got assistant coach Taylor Macon as well here.
It's unreal, man. Both those guys were exceptionally good players and leaders. Jonesy just was so skilled and just had that personality. And Makes was just an all-around enforcer, team guy, like could score, could fight, could do everything. So playing with those guys my rookie year and winning the national championship was a highlight of my career and my life, really. So to see them take that next step and to give back and to coach the team and provide their knowledge and insight and support, it's really cool. And it's cool that Pap's still there too. So I'm excited to see those guys and to see, how everything keeps unfolding.
Another guy I got to ask you about, you just mentioned him, but that's Madison Dunn. And I
Yes,
got to
sir.
know Madison, like he was here last week, a week and a half ago when we had our school games. We had like 2,000 kids in here, and he came to shoot some video, and that's kind of the first time I hung around him. What an awesome dude he is! Like it was a stressful day. I'm like trying to manage like 2,000 kids and keeping like it from turning chaotic, and he's like calming me down. Hey, it's all good. Like I got this. Like don't worry about me. I'm just gonna do my thing. And then he was pumping out like amazing video content, and man, you can tell he's really passionate about that stuff.
100%. No, he's a wizard. And it's funny because a lot of the stuff he does. So I help them with content too. Like they hire me for a bunch of like acting and skits and voiceovers and stuff like this. But one of their main clients is the JPHL. So he's used to being around the kids, and he can function in any environment. They shoot businesses, they shoot sport teams, they do all this. So he is an expert at his work, and it's fun to continue working with him and seeing their business grow, him and Andy. So it's funny. I hang out with him all the time when he's in town because he's back and forth from Arizona. But I saw him last week, and he told me, it's like, yo, Logan, I'm on the Bandits pod. And he's like, also, like, they're our new client. I'm like, well, that's hilarious, bro, because, like, we're doing our show here. And I was about to ask you if you're going to be around. He's like, I'm going to be there that weekend, likely. So I'm like, sweet. Like, it'll be kind of synergistically aligned.
Oh, I always love it when the former players come together, and then you can see that friendships and everything still with each other. So that's cool. Okay, so Brooks Hotel, March 2nd. How excited are you for that? And like, give us a little insight of what people can expect.
Definitely. Extremely excited to get back there, man. I love Brooks, and I'm hoping and I think we'll be able to come out a day early because there's going to be 2 games that weekend still, right?
Well, no, there was, and then we
No.
joined ECHL. So
Yeah,
now
I didn't know. Is the whole like? 'Cause that's what I mean. I can't really find the schedule or anything. Is there even a game that weekend then?
Saturday night at home, we play
Okay.
Open. We were
Okay.
supposed to play the Friday night too, but now it's just the Saturday. We are currently trying to get a website, so
That's
stay tuned
fair.
for that.
No, it's okay. It's kind of funny to see the surprises and keep you on your toes, but that's good. So my team will be at that game, and then after the game, we tried to make it a perfect time so the boys and all the fans and stuff at the game could come out. And yeah, just hoping to, get out there, meet up with some of the old billets, alumni, if there's anyone around, meet the new players, everybody, and just really get back into that environment. What I'm hoping to do is just put on an amazing show, high energy, and really end the night and kind of because that's the last game. Is that the last game of the season too?
No, it's
Now it's extended. Yeah, this is. I mean, I am trying to be educated, but
well, like I've been talking to Quinn here for the last month or whatever, and it's like in the middle of all the outside noise of BC and everything. So there was a time where I didn't even know if we'd have a game on March 2nd. I'm glad we will though, because it'll be a nice transition from that over to the Brooks Hotel. And yeah, I mean, like I think it's just going to be a fun weekend to have you back here. And you can just tell, you're really passionate about this. And I think it's just really cool that you're following these dreams.
thank you. Thanks, man. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it, seeing all you guys. And as for the show, it's just we tried to time it so everyone could come. It'll probably start a bit later. Doors open at 10. We'll probably get on. We might have another artist joining us to open things up, but either way, my producer DJ Boz will be putting on some bangers, and then we'll get out there together and just play a bunch of our music. And I think the boys will really relate to it. And I think it'll be exciting to see the people I've met in the past there and kind of recharge those relationships. And yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but it'll be a fun night of a mixture of different music and just something hopefully we all can remember.
Besides like going on Spotify, typing in Mark Logan, like if people want to get more music from you, look more at, about what you're into, like where should people go?
So my socials are at it's Mark Logan. So obviously Instagram, TikTok, I'm posting a bunch of video content and content about my music, and really the messages I want to give to motivate and inspire people and entertain them. But for music, any platform, any and every platform, trying to get the music out there, mostly Spotify and Apple Music these days, YouTube. But yeah, that's pretty much the game right now, is just getting these tracks out and going from there.
I guess just my last thing I just want to touch on now, like you're in the music business and you're meeting all sorts of different people and different, not just in the hockey world, but now you're branching out into the entertainment world. Like, do whenever the conversation leads to your time in Brooks, is it pretty cool now saying like you played in Brooks, for 3 seasons with the Bandits and got to have that experience, win a championship, like just like that experience being a Bandit, helping you become who you are today? I mean, you just like tell us about that.
100%, man. Like, just looking back on it in the hockey lens, like easily the highlight of my career, just achieving something like that with a group of people and friends and really brothers that, as you alluded to before, like it's cool when the boys get back together because it's like nothing's changed. Even though we're all going different ways, some guys still playing hockey, some guys are in different businesses, different line of work. It's like that relationship and that bond doesn't really change. It's something you form when, I feel like you only form something that deep when it's something very meaningful and you've all sacrificed and committed to a common goal. So that teaches you a lot about life. Like, not only in the hockey sense, was an amazing playing in front of the city and the town of Brooks, which contributes this too. It's just that environment and that atmosphere of everybody standing for something. You know what to expect from the team. Kind of like what Dunner said, like expect excellence. And it's a lot of pride that goes into playing for the Brooks Bandits. But that also helps you grow as a person. You realize what it takes. You create those habits that hopefully can transcend into different parts of your life. And for me now, just when I look back on it, it is nostalgic because not only so many of my friends and people I admire were a part of this, but also because for me, it was the beginning of the next step of my life. So a lot of this stuff wouldn't have happened. Everything says, or everyone always says everything happens for a reason. I believe that. Like, I started like rapping around the boys, freestyling with the boys, having fun like this. At the same time, I was playing hockey with all my friends. So it really is just, it's a beautiful thing at the end of the day. And I'm excited to get back there.
The one thing I love about, having been around the team now for 7 years, seeing all the progression of the players that come through here, wherever they go, whether they continue playing hockey or whatever part of life they whether it's they get right into their careers or doing cool stuff like music. It's always really sweet to see that they basically became adults here in Brooks and then, go out to the real world. And you're an example of that. I think it's so cool what you're doing. And I wish you all the best here moving forward. Can't wait for the concert.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on today.
Thanks to Mark Logan for joining us on Bandits Weekly, and can't wait to see him perform later on in March at the Brooks Hotel. Our episode has been presented by Smash Supplements, where you can get everything you need to power through your day and level up. Located in downtown Brooks, open Monday to Friday 10 to 6 and Saturday 10 to 4. Before we go, just want to give some credit to Hudson Malinowski, who played a season in Brooks, the 22-23 season, won a national championship with the team, was drafted 153rd overall by the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's now at Providence and was named the Hockey East Co-Rookie of the Week. Great job, Huddy. Just wanted to make sure he gets some love too on Bandits Weekly. Coming up this weekend for the Brooks Bandits, we're back in Blackfalds on Friday night. Redemption night for the Bandits, 7 o'clock on Real Country 105.7. And then the Bandits will finally be back at home on Family Day. That's Monday, February 19th, Family Day at the CRA, 4 o'clock puck drop against the Okotoks Oilers, presented by Brooks Early Learning Academy. Free tickets for fans 17 and under, and the skate with the Bandits after the game. And it's a Brooks versus Okotoks rematch, so should be a great game. 4 o'clock Family Day at the CRA, and that'll kick off a 3-game homestand for the Brooks Bandits as well. That's going to do it for Bandits Weekly. Thanks to both Sam Scopa and Mark Logan, as well as media coordinator Drayson Kuiper. I'm Nathan Crosby. Thanks for watching.